guys. I am just crying with joy right now because you're freaking amazing. There's so many people who love Spirit. Oh my god, guys. Oh, so I put up a video recently about Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron, and honestly, I was really shocked at all the people who grew up with Spirit and who love this movie. That makes me so very happy. I honestly didn't think it was gonna get that much attention because, you know, us girls and us boys who love horses and stallions and whatnot, I didn't think that there was a lot of people like that in that little niche category, but apparently a lot of people love this movie, and that's just a testament to how underrated it is because people don't really talk about it. That made me really freaking happy, and a lot of you had some interesting things to say. I did clear up some stuff because I know some people were like, why are you calling Spirit meat? No, that's not what I meant, but I already cleared that up in the video. I'm so sorry about the confusion. I just meant that it might not be as romantic in human standards. You know how we are. We're like, everybody must be faithful. The men always must be faithful and have one female, and people might get that misconception. So I did clear that up a little bit. I am so sorry for the confusion, but this is great, you guys, because a lot of you had also taught me some stuff, and somebody said that there was a book. So I looked into it, and I am honestly asking you guys now, is this book an official book to Spirit Stallion of the Cimarron, or is this lady just writing this unofficial book as inspiration from the actual real life stallion or from the movie? The reason why I'm asking is because everyone is saying that Spirit grew up without his father, and in the movie it looks very evident that he grew up without his father because you never see his father around. I also forgot to address it in the video because you may be wondering, well, where is his father? If he fought his father for dominance, which is what happens in the wild a lot of the time, then where was his father? Well, my theory is that if he did have his father, he could have been away for periods of time just like Spirit was. You've seen throughout the movie that when Spirit is older, he's off in the distance doing his own thing, securing the perimeter, just playing with the eagle, going on adventures, but yet he still makes sure that his family is safe, and when he's away, his mother takes care of the herd. It would be hilarious too if the father also had a similar experience that Spirit did, got captured just like Spirit before his mom gave birth, and then came back when Spirit was almost an adult. Now, is that likely? Probably not. They could have also made it about Spirit and left his father out of the picture so that we can concentrate on him as the protagonist. But the more likely theory, to be honest, is that something happened to his father. That still doesn't mean that he didn't, you know, shooky with all the mares. But if that's the case, and Spirit did not have a father, what happened to his father? Well, according to almost every fandom that I could find on here, it says that Spirit's father was called Strider. He was a pure black Mustang, and Esperanza, or Spirit's mother's mate, and Spirit's father. After Spirit succeeded him, he was captured and later died due to not being used to captivity. Not much else is known about him. So after Spirit succeeded him, does it mean that he did fight Spirit? Is this some other story in conjunction with Spirit Stallion the Cimarron? Because as far as I'm aware, there was no official book that went along with this movie. So I delved a little deeper into the fandom because a lot of people write these and it's based off of stories that were made in conjunction with the movies or from other mediums like the games and stuff. As far as I know, none of the games had that information either. So let's delve into this and see if we can get to the bottom of this mystery. And see, this is where my theory can still kind of stand with what I said about the stallion challenging his father when he got to an age, or sorry, the colt challenging his father when he got to a certain age. And there's so many conflicting information here. Some say that Strider died in captivity and Spirit grew up without his father, and some say that Spirit's father was there, he just wasn't in the picture for the movie. So it says in the film, Strider doesn't seem to physically appear in the film, although there are many black horses that could be him. Spirit mentions him when he grows into a full adult, and the manner in which he is mentioned seems to suggest Strider was deceased. Wait. What? This person said that Strider doesn't seem to physically appear in the film, although there are many black horses that could be him. Spirit mentions him when he grows into a full adult, and the manner in which he mentions seems to suggest Strider is deceased. What? Oh, wait, I think I found it. Okay, yes. I thought he said like my father before me in one of these things. So when he grows up, he says, like my father before me, I became leader of the Cimarron herd.
Like my father before me, I became leader of the Cimarron herd.
There you go. So, his father was the leader of the herd before he was. Maybe we just don't see him In the fandom, it says, in Spirit of the West, which is the book, the old lead mare and stallion have perished, leaving the herd mostly desolated. Esperanza, which is Spirit's mom, the Palomino, and her mother Alma, along with a few other horses, join Cedar's herd. Strider immediately falls for Alma's golden filly. He watches her from afar, nickers, and attempts to graze beside her. His affections are not returned until he shows an act of bravery. Kind of like with Spirit and Rain. He and Esperanza become close and friends, and blah, 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 blah. And as you can see, a whole bunch of other people are so freaking confused about this, and only a few people seem to know what the answer is. Not a lot of people even knew that Strider existed. Of course, we know that Spirit has a father, and his father existed, but we don't know whether the father was alive at the time Spirit was a child, and he was just off going on his own adventures, like could have been the possibility because Spirit did the same thing in the movie, or he was dead and what happened to him and how he died. Somebody even answered this in 2012 and said, yes, they did make Spirit's father in the series. Spirit of the Cimarron, Esperanza's book, talks about the black horse Strider. This is Spirit's father, but it doesn't talk about what happened to him since it ends before Spirit is born and the herd is created. Honestly, I don't think Strider should have been included in the movie. It wouldn't be the same since most likely Strider would have kicked Spirit out at some point, which is exactly what I was saying would have happened, and Spirit would have to fight his father for dominance. And again, it would give the chance of Spirit and Rain creating their own herd instead, but I like the fact that they didn't include him, although I do want to know what happened to him. So you can find this book. It's done by this author called Kathleen Dewey. I'm glad that she made these books because they're interesting, although I don't know if they are officially specific books, official books to the franchise. That's what I'm mostly concerned about. Are these books that were inspired by the movie, or are they in conjunction to the movie? When I look up Wikipedia, and I know Wikipedia is not like the source for every single thing, but they're pretty spot on with a lot of stuff. It says in other media, you only see them in video games and television series, and the sequel, you don't see anything about the book. And all of these things that are mentioned are official spin-offs or official ties to the franchise, but the books are not. So that's why I'm a little bit iffy about Strider and that whole story, even though it's probable and it's a nice story. I don't know if it actually fits in with the actual story of Spirit per the DreamWorks animation. And here's where it gets really confusing. You see, you may be wondering, well, if this woman made an official book, or if this woman made a book off of the story, how is she able to get away with it? That's copyright. I think she could kind of get away with it because it's not based, her books aren't really based on the movie per se, it's based on a real life horse. As far as I know, this movie wasn't based on a book, it was based on an actual Kiger Mustang named Spirit. Actually, he goes by Spirit, but his original name was Donner, and he was the model used for the Spirit that we see in the movie. So the lovely, beautiful Mustang that we see in these clips is actually the real Spirit, or the original horse off of which the story Spirit was based. As far as I know, the stallion was also born in captivity to wild parents. I'm trying to find some pictures of his parents or their names, because that might help to clear up things a little bit more, or just to give some backstory. But they formed the story around this Mustang. The story is really of Donner's parents, not really him, but they wanted to utilize his story as if he had been captured for the wild as well. Just thought I'd interject that. He's like, what, 25 now at the time of this video? And that was the inspiration they used for the movie. So she could have just as easily made the series as inspiration from, you know, the real life thing, even though she does call Spirit's mother Esperanza, and it is listed that she is movie tie-in. So it's confusing as hell. I can't find anything else on this. I tried even looking in the credits. It says the screenplay is by John Fusco. The music is by Hans Zimmer, of course. The story is by Ronnie Del Carmen. It doesn't say it's based on Kathleen Dewey's book. It doesn't say she wrote the story for the movie. She's a completely separate author to what the movie got. And even when you say the credit for the additional story artists and the other people that were part of the story, at no point do you see Catherine Dewey's name in here. Every single story person here, and she's not one of them. So when people are like, well, it's based on this book, no, it isn't. So it's a little bit hard to tell if I should go by what the books are saying or what the movie is saying. For all we know, they could be in completely different universes, and this author, who I'm sure is a lovely author, and I'm glad that she put these books out now because I really want to read them. It's just filling in what we all want to know. And maybe it's fair use and maybe it's non-copyrighted because it's based off an actual horse. So to answer the question as to what happened to Spirit's father, no one really knows. But if you're following along the book series, I guess he died. If you're following along the movie, it's totally possible that what I said in the other video happened and his father just wasn't in the picture at the time we saw all of the events with Spirit in it taking place. I think the theory of something happening to Spirit's father is probably the more likely outcome, but I guess this is a mystery we're gonna have to solve for another day. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks you guys for making me aware of this book to begin with, because I didn't even know that it was a thing, because I'm pretty sure the animation studio or the people who did this movie would have been marketing the hell out of it. You know how they do, just like Godzilla does. So I'm really glad that I'm now aware of it, and I will try to get my hand on the audiobooks because hopefully it does have audiobooks. People are like, oh, you're lazy, you don't want to read. No, I have a life and I have so many other things to do aside from what I'm doing on YouTube. So picking up a book, which is something I've done throughout my childhood, is not something I have the luxury of doing as much as I did before. But I hope that there's an audiobook, and thanks for making me aware of this again, guys. Thanks so much for watching. This has been Ultiori. You ask, we answer. Oh my god! You're hurting me! Well, maybe you shouldn't have been in the way, you damn fool.